What is going on, YouTube? Espresso Shuckle here, and it is finally time to bring Kyurem Black to the Reg G ranked ladder on this fairly Howl-centric team, because we have Howl Screamtail supporting not only Kyurem Black, but Rillaboom and Ogerpon. So we're going to click Howl, get attack boost into one of those three Pokemon, as well as Screamtail, and just try to do as much damage as possible. Kyurem here has the loaded dice item to boost up the amount of times it can hit with both its Icicle Spear and its Scale Shot. Now, Scale Shot can be a little bit risky because it's not 100% accuracy, and it does drop your defense one stage each time you use it, but the trade-off there is you do get a speed boost each time you use it. So we're going to try to get Kyurem as fast and hard-hitting as possible. The Screamtail here does have the booster energy item, so we are going to get a speed boost on our photosynthesis. So in theory, we can click Howl up to 2 times with Screamtail and Kyurem, and then that way Kyurem won't be able to outspeed Screamtail. Once it gets a third Scale Shot and more, then it's going to be outspeeding Screamtail, but if it doesn't have more than 2 Scale Shots, Howl will still go first, which means Kyurem will absolutely blow things up. And plus, we have Fusion Bolt for some nice electric type stab to go with our Tera Electric on Kyurem. Is it the best Tera type for Kyurem? Probably not, but I do like to see that giant light bulb on its head for sure. So we do have that. We have Rillaboom here with Grassy Glide, Fake Out, U-Turn, and Woodhammer. We have the U-Turn to pivot out Rillaboom and then periodically reset our grassy terrain, especially if we run into opposing Miraidons. We have Grassy Glide for some priority just to pick off some weakened things. Then we have Woodhammer to absolutely punish things after a Howl boost. We have Ogerpon Hard Flame here, so not only do we have the potential to boost it up with Howl, we can also terrestrialize this thing and get an attack boost with our Embody aspect ability, which means Ivy, Cudgel, and Hornleech are just going to absolutely decimate things. But if we do need Ogerpon to play a little bit of a supportive role, we do have that Follow Me tech right there. And finally, we have Spiky Shield to protect it. Next up, we have Iron Bundle here with Icy Wind Speed Control, so we have that little bit of support there. Iron Bundle can get a speed drop and potentially break some Focus Sashes. It has Freeze Dry to hit water-type Pokemon for super effective damage, and then it has Hydro Pump just to punish things. And honestly, we're going to be playing more of a damage-dealing Iron Bundle. I should probably get a supportive one at some point, but for now, we have that. And then finally, we have Tornadus here with Snowscape here to override opposing weathers, while also giving both the Kyurem and the Iron Bundle a defense boost. So we do have that with the snow. We have Tailwind here to speed up the entire team, and then we have Bleak Windstorm for some damage. Anyways, that's the team in a nutshell. So let's jump right on in to some battle. Whoo! We got a Groudon team. Kyurem might like that. Now, chances are they're going to be Terrifier, so Kyurem might not like that. But Groudon, Farigiraf, Walking Wake, Ursaluna Blood Moon, Volcarona, and Hisuian Lilligant. Now, the potential after you shenanigans off Lilligant could be bad. Groudon could go into a Precipice Blades right away. Could be something gross like that. But we do have the Torn. We do have Snowscape to undo the sun, so that might be really nice. And plus, that'll turn off the Photosynthesis for the Walking Wake. Farigiraf can set Trick Room, so we'll have to be a little bit weary of that. But I don't dislike the idea of them giving me a sun-boosted Ogerpon, so maybe we could do something like that. Ogerpon could be maybe a good lead here with Tornadus. I think we're going to bring the Kyurem in the back. I don't necessarily want to lead it. Now, the nice thing here, too, is we don't have to worry about a potential Intimidate drop because there's no Incineroar. There's no Fake Out either, which is really nice. So, Screamtail might be really good in the back as well. Or what I do is I lead Screamtail Ogerpon. Ooh, Screamtail Ogerpon might be nice too, but I'm running out of time. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the Screamtail in the back, and then that way, if I need to, I can get the booster energy off, and if they lead Groudon and get the sun, and Screamtail comes in afterwards, well, at least I have the Photosynthesis naturally. But getting Light Screen and Reflect, especially the Reflect, could be really nice for Screamtail here. So it is going to be Lilligant and Farigiraf, so my opponent's probably thinking that I might have a means of dealing with with the weather. So what I could do here is I could go for the Farigiraf and go for some big damage with the Ivy Cudgel. Yeah, I could do that. I don't dislike the idea of going for a Bleak and a Torn either. I don't want to go Tailwind because I think they Trick Room. But I just don't know if I want to pop my Tera. I mean, Kyurem is neutral to Groudon Stab, and if it is Tera Fire, at least I'm neutral to Heat Crash too. You know what? I think I'm going to pop that Tera Fire right out of the gate with Ogerpon. And I'm going to Bleak Wind Storm. If they Sleep Powder Ogerpon, though, that's going to make me look really silly. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I might be able to get some big damage off into that Furrygraph, and if I connect the Bleak Wind into the Lilligant, that's going to be some major damage right there, too. I'm assuming it's Focus Sash. It could be Covert Cloak. If it's Focus Sash, this is going to be a knockout into the Lilligant if I connect. And if it's not... okay, that's a thing. You can go for Encore if you want. I will gladly just go for the Bleak Wind Storm, and good to know that you are faster than me. Oh, so that's a clean knockout right into the Furrygraph. Let's go. And, honestly, we're going to connect the Lilligant too, so we're going to bring that down to a Sash. I think what I could do is I could Tailwind. And then let Ogerpon just do what it needs to. If Groudon comes in here, though, that should turn on the sun for them. So, I think what I'm going to do instead is... I think I'm going to Spiky Shield and Snowscape this turn. And this way here, too, I can just undo that sun. The Lilligant is naturally faster than my Torn anyways, but if they're just trying to get some big damage off into Torn with a After You play... we don't have to worry about that. If they're going to go for Sleep Powder, well, the sun's not needed for them to do that anyways. So, no Tera off of the Groudon just yet. So, we'll get the Snowscape up just to undo the sun. And then this way, too, we don't have to worry about any bonus damage off Fire-type attacks. So, they're going Solar Blade with Lilligant. That's delightful. Okay. So what I could do is I could go for a Tailwind, and then that way Ogerpon can just finish off the Lilligant, since we know Lilligant's locked into the Solar Blade. Yeah, we can do that. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to deal with this Groudon, because I do have Kyurem in the back, and I have Screamtail too. I mean, at least in the bare minimum, Icicle Spear is going to be super effective to base Groudon, and a Scale Shot would be neutral if it's Tera Fire, so there is that. We're going to see the Rock Slide coming out of here off of the Groudon, so thankfully Ogerpon takes that no problem. And depending on what their last Pokemon is, I might just want to Horn Leech that instead of the Groudon, so... I think I'm a little bit more weary of the Groudon than I am the Ursaluna, so... yeah, I mean, one of these two things is going to have to stay a ground type, so I think I'm going to Horn Leech into the Groudon, and I think I'm just going to go for the Bleak Wind Storm with Torn. And then this way, too, if I get a free switch in to Screamtail and Kyurem together, then I can go for Howl. I'll have my Booster Energy go off. I can get whatever screen of choice I want. Ursaluna is going to be the one to Terrastalize, so... Terra Normal is going to hurt, but it's not going to be the worst thing imaginable. Ogerpon is just doing what it absolutely needs to do, especially with that +1 attack. So, we don't have to worry about being outsped by the Ursaluna, unless it's got the odd Vacuum Wave, but I don't think it does. We're going to miss Groudon here with Bleak Wind, but the critical hit is going to take half of Ursaluna's HP right there. Unfortunately, I do lose Torn finally, but I'm probably losing Ogerpon, which means I am going to get my Screamtail in alongside my Kyurem, which is going to be delightful. And Groudon cannot Terrastalize, so I think Kyurem can finish that off, and I go for a Light Screen. I think that's what we do here. I think we Light Screen with Screamtail, and I think we just get the Groudon off the field with Kyurem here. We go for that Icicle Spear, and then we just try to just whittle down the Ursaluna with a Icicle Spear. So I think that's fairly safe at the end of the day. So let's see how well my Ancient Balloon is going to do. I was trying to come up with something witty for Screamtail, but unfortunately nothing is topping Cave Puff. Yeah, so anyways, we're going to Icicle Spear you, and we're going to Light Screen. And on the off chance it's the other way around, and they protect the Groudon, well, or I guess if they protect the Ursaluna, they're not going to protect, so we're just going to finish Groudon off right here with the Icicle Spear. Kyurem does get to pick up that KO. Ogerpon did a tremendous amount of damage, and I think what my opponent was trying to do on that turn 1 with the Encore was they probably thought the Moonblast was, or not the Moonblast, sorry, that's what just happened. They were probably thinking Tailwind was going out, so they were probably trying to catch me on the Moonblast. Not Moonblast again, Tailwind. They were probably hoping to lock Tornadus into Tailwind right there, so that's probably all it was. And really, I think I'm just going to go for the Howl. Yeah. I mean, Kyurem would have picked it up anyways, but we could have gone for the Howl there to boost up our attack 1 stage and go from there. The Moonblast off the Ursaluna did catch me off guard a little bit, but good to know that Kyurem was able to take that no problem thanks to the light screen. I mean, it would have been a 2-shot with the light screen, but still, at least Kyurem was able to take that no problem, and the fact that they did forfeit does make me think they didn't have Vacuum Wave. So anyways, good game to my opponent. Okay, we have a Miraidon team here with a Alolan Ninetales. That's actually kind of nice for Kyurem. Iron Bundle, Armarouge, Murkrow. Haven't seen one of those in a hot minute. And Landorus. So, Miraidon aside, this looks really nice for Kyurem. So, I think I'm going to bring Kyurem and maybe Screamtail. I don't mind the idea of actually bringing in my own Iron Bundle because I can always go for Icy Wind to try to slow down that Miraidon. Oh, that could be actually kind of nice, actually. I think I'm going to bring the bundle in the Kyurem. I think I'm going to bring Rillaboom in the back just to try to undo the electric terrain. And Murkrow could be a little annoying because of Haze, but at the same time, I think Screamtail might be really nice here since I can go for screens. I'm kind of putting a lot of pressure on Kyurem here, but that said, Kyurem should be able to make out all right, especially if we get a light screen up to deal with that Miraidon. I'm not seeing any physical attackers, actually, so that could be really nice for me. Now, the Snow will give the Ice types a defense boost, so cracking through the Iron Bundle and the Alolan Ninetales might be a little bit of a problem, but shouldn't be the worst thing imaginable. My Kyurem is Tera Electric, so I could always go for the stab boost on Fusion Bolt to hit that bundle. I can also hit the Murkrow really hard with it, and Kyurem's natural ice typing does scare the Landorus a little bit, so if Landorus comes, they might actually be the Tera candidate, potentially. We'll see. For all I know, after I said that, it could be the Murkrow, but we'll definitely see what my opponent wants to do. Tailwind Murkrow could be a little bit annoying. I don't know if Murkrow gets Encore too, which could be a little bit of a problem. But anyways, it is going to be Iron Bundle and Miraidon. So I feel really good about leading my own Iron Bundle here. That said, I do need a speed drop into both of these things. So I get a speed boost, and my opponent is also going to get a speed boost. All right, so the Iron Bundle is going to outspeed Kyurem, which is going to be a little bit of a problem here. But what I could do is I could maybe pop the Tera Electric and go for a Scale Shot and then try to live whatever Miraidon wants to do. I could also go for an Icy Wind. I don't have Tornadus, though, so maybe what I do here is I think we're going to pop the Tera Electric, and I think we're just going to go for the Scale Shot into the Miraidon, and I think we're just going to go for the double up on the Icy Wind. And then this way, too, we should be able to outspeed the Miraidon. We won't be able to outspeed the bundle, because my Kyurem isn't fast enough to outspeed it. But what we are going to see here is the Miraidon going for the Tera, and it is going to be Tera Electric. All right, so you go electric, I go electric. I'm going to become neutral to your dragon type attack, and hopefully I can live this potential double up. Yeah, that's the one big thing here too, is I'm putting a lot of faith in Kyurem here. So I'm going to go Tera Electric, and then that way too, Kyurem is going to power up a little bit. And we do get to connect our Icy Wind first, so we see the speed drop into the Iron Bundle. We do not see it in the Miraidon. That is a Covert Cloak Iron Bundle or Miraidon. So we're going to also see Volt Switch coming out here too. So maybe they thought the Rillaboom was coming in here. So I don't dislike Kyurem getting to stay around and not take any damage. I also don't like, or I don't dislike the Miraidon switching out here because whatever comes in is going to eat an Icicle Spirit. So I can bring in the Screamtail if I want. And it's going to be the Ninetales, so this is going to do absolutely nothing. Oh yeah, I went for the Scale Shot, not the Icicle Spirit. So anyways, I'm not going to get a speed boost off Kyurem, but what I could do here is I could bring in the Screamtail, and I can go for the Howl if I wanted to. And I can just try to nail the Iron Bundle here. Now, because Miraidon Tera'd, we know the Iron Bundle can't. So, not the worst thing imaginable here. I think I'm going to go for that Fusion Bolt. Try to get the bundle off the field. I'm going to go for the Howl. And this way, too. If I can also get some speed off, that would be delightful. Now, I don't dislike the idea of Screamtail getting a Howl off, and then a Light Screen, and then getting it out for Rillaboom when Miraidon comes back in here. So, we're just going to have to try to keep Kyurem alive and healthy, which is saying a bit, because that Iron Bundle can still outspeed me. And I am loaded dice. I'm not Clear Amulet myself, so I could take a speed drop off of an Icy Wind. So there is that in the bare minimum. So we'll get our Howl off with Screamtail, boost itself up too, which also, Play Rough could also be a little bit respectable. I'm going to get locked into Scale Shot, but you know what? So long as it's not into the Ninetales slot, I'm okay with that. And we're just going to eat a Blizzard off the Ninetales, so we're going to hit the Iron Bundle here with the Scale Shot, so I'm going to get a speed boost out of this too, which is nice. I don't dislike the idea of being able to hit Miraidon with it, especially since I'm at +1. And we do get to connect all 5 hits, so Iron Bundle goes down, which is delightful. So I do get a speed boost. We only saw a Blizzard off of the Alolan Ninetales, which is okay, so I'll get my speed. And in theory, I should be able to outspeed the Miraidon now. So I should be able to do some major damage with this boosted Scale Shot. Yeah, let's take a quick look here just to compare my speed stats, because I feel like I should be able to still 143, 165. I could still get another Howl off into yeah, like this will make Kyurem faster than Screamtail, but Screamtail should be able to get one more Howl off into Kyurem first, which is going to be great. Now, I cannot attack that Ninetales, but Ninetales does not have any physical moves to hit Kyurem with, so I don't care about the defense dropper right out of the gate. So, in theory, we should be able to pick up the Miraidon here. Oh yeah, that's comfortable. So the Encore kind of backfired on them because now I got a speed boost and I was able to connect the Scale Shot, so very happy about that. Now, what Screamtail should do here is it should go for the Light Screen. Yeah, I should go for the Light Screen with Screamtail here. And depending on what comes in here... Oh, Foul Play. Oh, that does have a physical move. Oh, this is spicy now. Okay. Yeah, okay. -2 defense, +2 attack. Yeah, Foul Play just absolutely decimated me there. But what I could do now is, so long as this isn't Landorus, it's Armarouge. Okay, that's just as bad. Yeah, okay. Because they have Blizzard too. That's not ideal. Yeah, okay. How many turns of Snow do we have left? 2. Okay, that's not great. But I am Assault Vested, so I think we Fake Out into you, and I think we go for that Light Screen. Screamtail's at +2 attack as well, which is not terrible. It's not great either, because it is a Screamtail. I kind of wish this was my Rock Tomb Screamtail, which it is not. I'm going to take a Icy Wind off of that, but you know what? That's fine. And we saw the Covert Cloak on the Miraidon, so Armarouge is going to flinch there, which is okay. Blizzard could be a little bit annoying, but it's not the worst thing imaginable. That should make me slower than the Armourouge, though. Armor Cannon's going to hurt. That's the other big thing, too. I think I Wood Hammer into the Ninetales, and I think I Play Rough into it, too. There's the Blizzard, so thank you, Light Screen. Okay. So, we take a decent chunk out of the Ninetales. There's a Heat Wave connecting. I barely hang in there with both of these Pokemon because I did take a critical hit off of the Screamtail there. The Ninetales holds on, though. Snow is stopped. That's nice. That is really, really nice. Unfortunately, though, I don't think I just out-muscle the Armourouge here. Yeah, okay. I think I Grassy Glide you, and I think I just try to get some chip damage off into the Armourouge with the Play Rough here. Yeah, okay. There is some hope because Heat Wave can potentially miss, but I am slower than the Armourouge. So, we'll get rid of the Ninetales here. If Rillaboom can dodge a Heat Wave, that'd be delightful too, because then I can always Grassy Glide for chip. I missed this Play Rough, though. Oh, no, I do hit that. Okay. That did absolutely nothing, which is terrible. And unfortunately, they're going to connect with the Heat Wave, which knocks out Rillaboom. Unfortunately, Screamtail just does not have the firepower. Screamtail can try. Screamtail is going to try its best. But unfortunately, I think the Armourouge just gets me here. I got really cocky with the Kyurem. Oh, and I also missed the Play Rough too. I really got cocky with the Kyurem, which I shouldn't have done that. There's an Acid Spray off the Armourouge, which that's not great for Screamtail by any means, because that is accurate. Unfortunately, the Heat Wave is going to do me in there. The Play Rough missed. That didn't matter. The Foul Play off the Ninetales caught me off guard. If they didn't have that, I would have been all right at the end of the day. So they do pick me up there with the Acid Spray, so my opponent does win. Unfortunately, I had a really good momentum going with the double Scale Shot to pick it off Miraidon as well as the Iron Bundle. But unfortunately, the Ninetales was the MVP of that match. Now, what I probably could have done a little bit better was I probably could have switched out Kyurem, which might have been a little bit counterproductive. I probably should have brought Ogerpon too, maybe instead of Rillaboom. Ogerpon might have actually been the better means of dealing with my opponent's team. But the nice thing was, at least it wasn't the Landorus, so Kyurem did scare that away, so that is relatively nice. Anyways, good game to my opinion. Alright, we have a Miraidon team here with Farigiraf, King Gambit, Ogerpon, Heartflame, Iron Boulder, and Iron Bundle. So, 2 Violet Paradox Pokemon to benefit from the electric terrain. Now, both of which don't really care for opposing Iron Bundle, which is kind of nice. Now, I do have to be very careful of that Miraidon, but the other thing, too, is neither Bundle nor Boulder, I guess, spoiler alert, neither of them appreciate the Rillaboom. Neither does the Miraidon, too. So, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring Rillaboom as part of my lead. Now, they could always go for the Farigiraf Armor Tail to just block Grassy Glide, but I do have the Wood Hammer, which is nice. I think we bring Torn in the lead here, or I bring the Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle actually looks kind of nice here. I think I'm gonna bring Kyurem, and you know what? Ogerpon looks really nice, too, with a speed boost into it. Yeah. I'm going to get Torn and Ogerpon in the back, and I'm going to go from there. A little bold of me to not bring the Rillaboom, but at the end of the day, if I can get Kyurem with some speed investment and just start doing some big damage, that should be okay. If the Miraidon doesn't Terastallize, Scale Shot and Icicle Spear are just going to do so much damage. Now, it's going to be Boulder and the Miraidon into my Bundle, into my Kyurem. And I do have to be very careful because that is still a Rock type in front of me. So Bundle's going to get a speed boost. Is Boulder getting a speed boost or is Boulder getting an attack boost? It is an attack boost. Okay, so What I could do is I could Hydro Pump into the Boulder. They might just Volt Switch out with Miraidon, which I'd be more than okay with. And I think what I do here is I Scale Shot into the Boulder. I think I go for this thing here because it can hit through Protect. Now, we're seeing the Tera. I'm definitely thinking this is the Miraidon. Yep. So, Tera Fairy. Alright, that's a little bit different from what I was initially expecting, but not the worst thing for me to deal with. I'm going to get my Tera Electric off, and if I take a Draco Meteor, this is going to be terrible, but ideally what happens is I get the Hydro Pump off into the Iron Boulder and potentially knock it out, maybe. Great, okay. So this Scale Shot is not going to be doing me any favors, but at least now I don't have to worry about taking super effective damage off of this Dazzling Gleam. Now, Scale Shot is not going to be doing me any favors by any means, but what I could potentially do now is I could go for Icy Wind into the Miraidon. Fusion Bolt does get an extra boost in power from the terrain, so there is that. Who is it? It's Ogerpon. Okay. Ogerpon doesn't look too bad as well. So let's see right here. I brought my own Ogerpon. I have my Torn. I'm going to go for the Icy Wind into both of these. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to protect Kyurem this turn. I'm going to try to protect Kyurem, and then that way what I can do is I can try to just get a little bit of a speed drop into the Miraidon before Bundle goes down. We did see the Dazzling Gleam off of the Miraidon, which was not pleasant, but it's okay. That's just the Protect animation. Okay. A little hard to see past the Kyurem's giant light bulb on its head, but we do get a speed drop into the Miraidon, which is going to be great. Bundle's going to go down here, but Bundle did what it needed to do. It picked up the KO into the Iron Boulder, which would have scared Kyurem, since Kyurem can't protect in front of that thing. And now we have a speed drop into the Miraidon. I can bring in my own Ogerpon. I could go for an Ivy Cudgel. My Ogerpon is faster than my Kyurem. So, in theory, what I could do here is I can go for the Cudgel into their Ogerpon. We just saw the Spiky Shield, and I go for the Icicle Spear and just try to get some damage into this Miraidon. If they follow me, great. My attack will get redirected, but I can do some big damage to them. At least there's that. Yeah, at least there is that. The electric terrain is probably close to wearing off, which is going to be nice. Now, they are going to just go with raw Ivy Cudgel, so that is enough to not leave me with a great amount of HP. It's definitely not an appreciated amount of damage, but we're going to get the Icicle Spear off into the Miraidon, which should give some damage, or should do some decent damage in the bare minimum. We hit it 4 times. Great. There's the Draco Meteor finally, so Kyurem's going to go down. Unfortunately, Kyurem wasn't really doing much for me this game, but at least we weakened up, or softened up, the Miraidon and the Ogerpon. My Ogerpon is not going to appreciate an Ivy Cudgel by any means. But let's see right now what we have for electric terrain. Oh, we have 2 more turns of this. Okay. It's a little bit concerning, but I'm going to go for an Ivy Cudgel into their Miraidon, and I'm going to go for a Tailwind. Actually, let's see what they could potentially switch in. None of those things appreciate a Tailwind Ivy Cudgel. Perfect. Perfect. No switch on the Miraidon either, so they might just be going for an electric type attack, and the Miraidon is at -2. And we've seen the Draco Meteor, we've seen the Dazzling Gleam, so we're just going to finish off their Ogerpon. I have Tailwind now. in theory, Ogerpon should be able to finish off Miraidon next turn. Oh, there's a Volt Switch. Okay. So, luckily, Tornadus is able to live that, thanks to the -2 attack drop. And we get this Miraidon off of the field with 1 turn of Electric Terrain. So, it shouldn't be resetting its terrain by any means. I think I just go for the Miraidon with my Ogerpon. Yeah, I think I just go for the Miraidon here with the Ivy Cudgel. And I just try to get a little bit of chip damage into this thing with the Bleak Wind. And getting a little bit of chip damage into the Farigiraf is nice too. Also, we didn't see an Electric Seed, so that is very nice. Now, I don't see a Trick Room coming, but I did just set Tailwind, so if it does, the Miraidon is going to be faster. But I honestly think Ogerpon is fine here. We're going to connect with Miraidon, so Miraidon goes down. That's going to leave the Farigiraf, and depending on how much damage Farigiraf can do to Ogerpon, Ogerpon should be in an alright position. Are we going to connect to Bleak Wind Storm? We are not, so no chip damage from me, and there is the Trick Room. Okay. That is a little bit concerning. But what I can do, and I'm just going to confirm, no Electric Seed. Okay. I'm going to Horn Leech the Farigiraf, and I'm going to try to protect Tornadus this turn, and then that way, if they go for it, that buys Ogerpon a little bit of time. There's a Psychic into the Torn. Great. Torn is going to dodge that. And Ogerpon is going to get the Horn Leech off into the Farigiraf. That's an okay amount of damage. I don't mind that. I'm going to Ivy Cudgel, and I'm going to Bleak Wind Storm. And my opponent forfeits. So, you know what? That's great because Farigiraf did have the bulk there. I was a little bit weary of playing the Trick Room, so I'm more than okay with that. Because the other thing, too, is if Ogerpon went down, then I'm really playing accuracy games with Bleak Wind Storm, which is not something I want to do. But very happy with that endgame for sure. The Kyurem did okay work. It could have been a little bit better in that particular match, but the Iron Bundle did a wonderful job. And I was just generally thinking the Iron Boulder would have been able to take the Hydro Pump, which was the main reason why I went for that Scale Shot, but I probably could have gone for the Icicle Spear instead. But at the end of the day, it worked out in my favor, so good game to my opponent. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking out this Kyurem Black team in action. We ended up going up against a Groudon team as well as 2 different Miraidon teams, and despite losing to one of those 2 Miraidon teams, we were able to get the Howl Scale Shot momentum going with Kyurem. Unfortunately, the foul play off of the Alolan Ninetales hitting my -2 defense Kyurem with my +2 attack Kyurem with its own attack stat. That kind of put a little bit of a downer on Kyurem's parade. But Kyurem ended up doing tremendous work in that match, all things considered. We were able to knock out the Miraidon with the +1 Scale Shot, and because the Iron Bundle locked us into Scale Shot with Encore, we were able to just knock that thing out as well. It would have been really bad for us if the Scale Shot ended up going into the Ninetales again, but luckily here we were able to pick up the initial fumble of going for the Scale Shot into the Miraidon with the Alolan Ninetales switching in for Miraidon off of that Volt Switch, which just absolutely ruined Iron Bundle's day. But luckily we were able to just do so much raw damage to both the Iron Bundle and the Miraidon when Miraidon did eventually come back in. And unfortunately, that just boiled down to an endgame of Alolan Ninetales and Armarouge just staring down my Screamtail and Rillaboom, which was not really the greatest for my Rillaboom, especially since I had already lost my Tera at that point. But overall, still a relatively good match. And then as far as the Groudon team matchup went, we ended up going up against Hisuian Lilligant, Groudon, Ursaluna Bloodmoon, as well as Farigiraf. I hope that was enough of a dramatic pause right there. But anyways, that was Ogerpon's game for sure. We were able to just do a lot of damage with our Ivy Cudgel. We were able to just straight up knock out the Farigiraf with the Tera Fire boosted Ivy Cudgel with our raw attack boost, and on top of that, we were able to connect the Bleak Windstorm into the Hisuian Lilligant, leaving it with 1 HP. And the nice thing about the Snowscape on the Tornadus was it was there to not only remove the ability for the Solar Blade to become a single turn move, but we were able to just undo the sun, which meant no more chlorophyll for the Lilligant. It had to wait an extra turn, which meant it locked itself into the Solar Blade, which just meant it was easy pickings to finish off with the team right there. And it was an endgame of Groudon and Ursaluna Blood Moon into Ogerpon, and Ogerpon had a delightful time right there. Kyurem didn't really get to do that much for the game, but Ogerpon just more than pulled its fair share of the weight. We did get to pick off the Groudon with Icicle Spear off of the Kyurem, and honestly, the fact that they didn't terastallize their Groudon made me think they might have been Tera Grass as opposed to Tera Fire, because that would have been the main way of being able to wall Ogerpon right there, was if you were Tera Fire. So I'm strongly suspecting it was Tera Grass or a non-fire and grass resistant Tera right there, because they did terastallize the Ursaluna Blood Moon instead. But fortunately, we were able to make quick work of Groudon thanks to Ogerpon and Kyurem Black, and then that just left the weakened Ursaluna for the endgame right there. And then finally, with the other Miraidon team, we ended up going up against Tera Fairy Miraidon as opposed to the typical Tera Electric Miraidon. And again, Ogerpon had a really good game there, as well as Iron Bundle. Kyurem really tried to make an effort there. Unfortunately, I kind of overestimated, or rather underestimated, Hydro Pump, because we picked off the Iron Boulder with the Iron Bundle. We got the one-shot off of that Hydro Pump, so the Scale Shot was just kind of useless going into the Tera Fairy Miraidon. Now, if it wasn't Tera Fairy and it was Tera Electric, I probably would have gotten that speed boost, which meant it could have been a very, very different game for Kyurem. But thankfully, we were able to just get a speed drop into the Miraidon, and also thanks to the Draco Meteor dropping Miraidon's own special attack 2 stages, Tornadus was able to live a Volt Switch off of that, which then boiled down to an endgame of the Farigiraf and Miraidon after my Ogerpon removed theirs, and Miraidon was already weakened from Kyurem, doing a little bit of damage to it, so Ogerpon was just able to finish off the Taser Lizard with the Ivy Cudgel. So we did have that, and then we had the awkward dynamic of Trick Room going up while I had Tailwind, but it was just Farigiraf versus the Ogerpon and the Miraidon, or the Tornadus at that point. So it worked out in the end for me. Anyways, guys, thank you once again so much for checking out this team in action. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to let me know what you think of Kyurem Black down in the comments below, and I will see you next time.